All right, we call the Gladstone City Commission meeting for July 10th to order. First up is invocation and pledge allegiance led by Commissioner Mantala.
Let's pray. Lord, thank you for bringing us together in freedom in this great country, in this great city of ours. Keep us mindful of the needs of everyone involved as we make decisions to move our great city forward. Let us have knowledge and fairness and consider all involved in the decisions today. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Commissioner Phelan.
Here.
Commissioner Mantala.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner View.
Here.
Mayor Bostwick.
Here. All right, first up is public comment. All right, well, the new city manager is here, and he's going to start July 31st. So if he could come up there and introduce himself.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for inviting me here to say a couple words. And I want to introduce myself. I'm Darcy Long, and spent the day, most of the day, here at City Hall, visiting with some of the staff. And then Mark took me around to see some of the Public Works Department. And so it was a kind of a great day for me. And I want to thank the City Commission for appointing me here. I'm very excited about getting to work with the City Commission and the staff. We had some great conversations today and talked about a lot of stuff. It was all over the board kind of conversations and good stuff. So, got to talk with Eric a little bit today, and he was quite busy, so he had to come in and out. But I want to thank the City Commission for having me here tonight, and look forward to working with him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other public comment? All right, moving on to the consent agenda. The payment of bills. No minutes? No. Will be probably in the next one. Kim was on vacation and that. So.
Is this pavement markings, that's all done here?
Pardon?
The painters for the streets, are they all done now?
Yep. They're usually done by the 4.
And that bill for Nortrax, that was the repair on the loader up at the...
The loader that we're keeping.
Right. That Mark had informed us about last time.
Yep.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Phelan, support by Commissioner Mantala, to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is unfinished business, televised commission meetings.
Still getting information on that. We'll have all that ready for the next commission meeting.
Okay.
Will remain unfinished till next week.
Okay. Under new business, uniform video service local franchise agreement.
Yeah, in front of you, you have the letter from Charter. I did a lot of research on this because this was all new to me. In 2006, the commission held a public hearing in regards to have the franchise agreement with Charter, and the you're allowed to charge a 0 to 5% franchise fee, which they return back, which goes to the general fund. That was the first time that the city had charged, and it's charged on the, it's added to the people's cable bill, and then the 5% goes to the general fund. So anyway, there was a public hearing, and it was approved by the 3-to-1 vote of the commission. Later that year, the state passed this law that we're looking at right now, the Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement Act, and so the following year, the commission voted on it again, and they approved. Same vote. Well, it was 4-to-1 in 2007, and it was a 10-year contract, and with the 5% fee added on to it. So the 10-year contract is up at the end of this month. So what we're recommending is that we set a public hearing. Yeah, but you're given the option, because I went through this, because I talked a little bit to the attorney today on how this is usually handled, and we can, it's recommended that we have a public hearing at the next meeting, get the citizens' input on how they feel about this. It's a average of about $85,000 to the general fund. Last year it was $89,852. So that's about all I have. Are there any questions?
Well, I'd like to get it on the table, so I'll move that we set a public hearing for the next commission meeting, which is on the 24th of July.
Yep.
For the Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement.
I'll support.
All right, motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Thompson, was it? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had this in the packet, sort of incorrect, but I couldn't get a hold of the charter guy until this morning, and we went over the whole thing with him, and he explained how these are usually handled, and so that's why.
I went through it, and I see that it is quite complicated.
Yeah, I went through it about 5
I mean,
times, and I
you
still
know,
don't understand it.
For the amount of time I had to do this and the MERS and the other stuff, which was so much to try to digest, I'm very glad we set a public hearing for it. So it gives me more time to go through it. But can you give us a quick synopsis on, does this give Charter the only rights in our city to offer utility pole service, or, you know, for Charter? I'm trying to figure out what we're offering Charter.
It gives them the right to go on our right of way and use our right of way and our telephone poles
So
for the use of their.
if AT&T were to come in here and run fiber through the right-of-way and start supplying TV to homes, would this apply to them too?
Yes, I think so. What I was going to do is I was going to ask Don, the charter guy, if he could come to the public hearing and explain it better.
That'd be good.
This was all Greek to me when I read through it.
The way I
Yeah.
understood it, I read it in there, and it said that any other provider that comes in would be subject to the same thing if this was passed.
Yeah, we'd have to sign another agreement.
And it's only for somebody running a utility line or utilizing right-of-ways and poles.
Yep.
And infrastructure. Has nothing to do with any other type of service, like a satellite service or anything like that, right?
No.
It's only video, not data.
No, okay.
I was at that commission meeting 10 years ago when this was passed, and there were a lot of citizens that spoke.
I was at that meeting too.
It was packed here, so I think we're doing a good thing to let the people come back and tell us. The only other thing that I'd like to bring up, that over the 10-year period, the fees for charter has risen, and we never lowered the original amount that we had, and I thought maybe as a good gesture that we could look at getting something in there that if our charter bills go up, that we reduce that accordingly, or start out at like 4.5% or something, or see what the public wants to say, because they're getting hit double by it then. Their charter goes up, and then this extra fee is going up at the same time.
Just the only thing is that the budget is budgeted for 85,000, so if we're changing that in any way, we'll have to adjust the budget. And this year's proposed budget shows a line item of $85,000 income, so that's what the average has been.
What did we do before we had this?
You didn't get $85,000 a year?
First year it started out first year we got about 55,000, but then with cable increases and more people hooking on for more special packages, it's gone up.
I know it's additional revenue with our city like that, but I remember in some of the work sessions that was brought up, and I think Commissioner Thompson brought it up, that we were thinking of earmarking it for something.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, towards MERS maybe?
I don't know, that's why I just throwing it to you to see if you remember.
I don't remember.
And we all thought it was a good idea, because now then we have a use for it on why we're utilizing it.
I know the reason it came up was 11 years ago was when the state was at their peak of their cutbacks on what they were in their revenue sharing with the cities, and so we were cutting back and looking for new sources of revenue at the same time.
So if we set a public hearing, you said you're gonna ask our attorney to be here. How about, are we gonna have a representative from the cable company?
I was gonna ask Don from the cable company.
Oh, okay. We're not gonna have our attorney here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the attorney review it, make sure, but when I talked to Kim is out of town, I talked to her on the phone, and she said the safe thing to do tonight would be to have a public hearing. Just schedule a public hearing for the next meeting, and we'll go from there.
All right, any more discussion? All right, all those in favor of setting a public hearing for July 24th on this, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up is schedule public hearing for MICDBG revolving loan fund for K&M Industrial.
You have this one, Renee?
No, I didn't.
Anyway, K&M Industrial has applied for, and we have worked with them on getting the revolving loan fund. This is the Gladstone portion of the revolving loan fund that the Northern Initiatives that we now belong to. It's great that Gladstone's getting this money, and it's a low-interest loan for K&M, for Josh King's business down there. And we need to have a public hearing to go over the revolving loan fund and explain everything about the amount and the interest rate and everything else about it.
Eric, the only thing I wanted to mention was that the people who are administering the loan,
They will be here.
they will be at the public hearing to answer any questions regarding that, because the city doesn't administer those loan funds. That's been removed. We used to, but that's been removed from us, so Northern Initiatives handles that now. And the guy that we talked to on the phone, I can't remember his name, but he did a really great scenario or synopsis of Josh King's, what he's using the money for and what he's doing. He's got a really good spiel that he'll give you guys at that next meeting.
Well, I'll move that we schedule a public hearing for the Michigan CDBG revolving loan fund for K&M Industries for July 24th meeting.
I'll support.
All right, motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Phelan to set a public hearing for the July 24th meeting. Any discussion?
Yeah, just to be clear on this, this isn't city money. This is money that's generated from Northern Initiatives. How does that work? Why are we involved in this at all if it's coming from them?
It was money that was given to the city that came from the state, and for many, many years, each entity or each municipality had their own pots. Escanaba had their own, we have our own, other cities in the Upper Peninsula had their own. Again, they wanted to regionalize it, and now the state is subcontracting with Northern Initiatives in Marquette.
Okay.
So they administer the loans, they keep up on all the documentation that needs to be kept with the state, but there still is a board that the city of Gladstone sits on, so we still have control somewhat over the money.
But we're not, there's no liability with the city. I mean, if you
No.
went default on the loan, there's
No.
nothing that can come back on
The
the
only
city.
reason the city has to be involved is through that public hearing process, and then we have to sign agreements to say we will allow this money to come into our community. So there's some process that the city has to go through to enable him to be eligible for the money.
Okay.
And so that's the process that we have to engage in. And, and like Vicki said, we do have a seat on that board, so we do vote on who's eligible, and we did that last week or 2 weeks ago. We did vote to move that forward. So it's valuable for us to participate in this, to enable him to get money. He pays this money back. It's on him to pay it back with interest. So the money goes back into the revolving loan fund so that other entities may borrow it. It's a fairly low interest rate. I think it was 2% or just slightly over 2%. But he has to show a plan on how he's going to pay it back and have collateral, and just like you would for any other loan.
Okay.
But all of the risk, I guess, is on Josh and Northern Initiatives. It's not on the city.
Good.
Why are we approved? Why do we need to approve it if
It's
it's?
part of their process. It's part of how it works. If the community doesn't support him and buy into it through this public input process, then I don't know what they would do, but I would imagine he's not eligible for the loan. It's a requirement of the program.
So when the state gave us money, and they started this up, that money went back to the state or into this program, and that's all pooled regionally to be dispersed among each city accordingly.
Yeah, and when Northern Initiatives is here next time, they'll be able to explain that. But there's certain money that's reserved for the city of Gladstone. So there's
How much, do you know?
I don't know those numbers off the top of my head, but there's a pool of money that's reserved just for us, and if we don't spend it, it goes into the general pool. So we want to continue to spend our money and utilize our money so that it remains for our businesses.
I mean, if we don't lend it out after a period of time, we
Mhm.
lose it?
We lose it.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Cook is I can't think of his first name, but he's is it Dale Cook?
Yeah, well, we don't want to lose it.
Right, we want to keep it eligible for our businesses, and that's part of our commitment to doing the pieces that we have to do.
Well, that's why we got to approve it then. I can see that now. But the other thing in here, it says, the application, is that a big application? Because I see in our packet, we didn't get that application, and if you want to inspect it, anyone in the public, they have to come to City Hall. Are we able to get that in our packet so we can kind of see how that works?
There's confidential information on that application.
Then what about the part that the public can look at? Can we get that part? It says, further information application is available for review. To inspect the documents, please contact city manager Eric Buckman to review at Escanaba City Hall. Or Escanaba, excuse me, Gladstone. Unless, you know, I don't know if
I'll
that.
have to check with Northern Initiatives to see.
I'm just curious how it works, because we had all these questions. I'd like to see whatever we can see. As long as, if it's a big packet, I'm not interested, but a little bit to see how that program works, I would like to see it.
Well, I think you said there'd be a representative from Northern
He'll
Initiatives
be
here
here
next
to
week,
explain the whole
or
thing.
next meeting. I'm sure they can explain the whole process to us.
We can ask them to submit that information so we can include that in your packet prior to the public hearing, so you have it.
Thank you.
All right, any more discussion? All right, all those in favor of the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next up is city manager's report.
We have a state baseball tournament is coming up, and there's been some discussion on the concession stand. The rec department has been working with the Little League, and because of the new concession stand and all the new equipment, the rec department will be running the concession stand, and they have an agreement with the Little League. As if the Little League wants to donate labor, that the rec department will pay their donated labor back at the going rate. Started companies. They started working on the disc golf today. You guys working on that? Start clearing trees. I've been getting a number of questions on that. There's a lot of people excited about that starting and get going. Mr. Kinney, who was here a couple meetings ago regarding being hooked in city limits and hooked up to UPCO, he is. We're still working with him. It's gotten a little political. UPCO has states that because it's not new construction, they don't have to give him up. And so we have our membership with the Michigan Municipal Electric Association. We're working with them and UPCO to try to get that resolved. Because Mr. Kinney is doing some work on the house, and he needs the service line moved. And once where he needs it moved, he'll be a lot closer to City Electric. So we'll continue working on that. Talked to Mark this morning, and the equipment committee gone through, and they're looking at a 6-year lease and a 6-year warranty on the backhoe with a 4-year service contract. Efficiency United will be here on Wednesday and Thursday this week, and they got the deal of $10 for a 6-pack of 60-watt bulbs. 2 per customer, limit of 2 per customer, which is a really good deal. They also have the high efficiency shower heads and faucet aerators and some other things if you want to come in.
What was that date, Eric? I'm sorry.
They'll be here this Wednesday and Thursday, July 12th and 13th from 9 to 4 p.m. And last but not least, the fireworks this year. We've gotten a lot of interesting comments, and we've gotten good comments and bad comments. Last year, we had a problem, and we came close to injuring some people. So when the 4th of July committee met this year, we talked about it and talked about it. The year before, we had problems. The south wind, we had burned several canopies on boats, and the boat people, our insurance company had to pay quite a bit of money out. So looking at the isolation distances, we're very close. It's legal, but it's very close to not being legal, and with the strong south winds we have there, our plan B was to go to Saunders Point. It's on me. It wasn't announced well enough. I talked about it at the meeting. The band was supposed to make an announcement on the 4th of July, the band sound system guys. I don't know if they made it or not, because I worked the morning shift. But looking to the future, we have to find a spot, and I think what we're going to look at, work with Josh King, get K&M and get a pontoon boat or rent a barge and move it out so it's safe for everybody and put it in the right spot. That's all I have.
All right, you have on there MERS actually report.
Yeah, we were going to pick a date for the MERS actuarial report tonight. If you wanted to wait till Mr. Long's first meeting.
Yeah, I was thinking we should wait till.
So I'll get in touch with Tara and try to set it up for one of the 2 meetings in August.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yep.
Can we have a meeting without her being here first? Because I have a lot of issues I'd like to discuss with the commission on things that I would like her to bring to the meeting that I don't think she would be prepared for after. I went through half of this report, and I have 2 pages of questions that I need clarification on, and I don't think she'll have it with her if she just came down and just went directly through the report. You know, my first time with it, she came down and it took me a while to get used to it. This time here, I studied it very in depth, and there is some restructuring things that I think are not in here that we need to look at. And I would like to talk among the whole commission on it in a work session or something.
Well, maybe you could submit those questions to her? And then she could prepare, because maybe a lot of those questions might be questions that we all have.
That's what I was trying to hone in on as a team, to see if we want to go into some direction like that of some of the options that are not in here. If you really read the report, your eyes got to be open. Your eyes got to be open really big on from 2006, you know, for the last 10 or 11 years. And I don't want to keep making the same decisions over and over again. And I think we really need to look at restructuring some of the things that we have in there. Personally, myself.
I don't have a problem with having a work session first, discuss it.
You have a date in mind? I think it should be in August, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's already enough on the next meeting, 2 public hearings. And
Yeah. We should have a calendar here that we can just look at.
What do you want to? Okay.
I mean, we're all busy here, so
right.
it's difficult sometimes to. How about if we just at the next meeting we'll come in with a variety of dates. It's still the middle of July, and we can set up something in August to head forward with this. And
I'd be for that. We can have a work
I mean,
session.
I'm not looking
get
at
over
going
our-
real quick on this. This is something that after reading this,
Oh, I know.
reading the audit and doing everything, I see something that we need to go, maybe a 3 to 5 year plan on doing some things that need to be done.
There's a lot of information.
Yep.
So we'll just wait till the next meeting.
Okay.
So you don't want MERS there? Do you want Alan from our? You're here doing our audit right now. You'd be the second person with the most knowledge on it that will be able to answer some of the questions or have more questions.
Personally, I don't feel I would need him there either for the stuff that I would like to talk about.
Wait till next meeting and then come up with a
We'll come up with our
date for a special meeting.
Yeah, schedule. We'll have our schedules
August.
with us.
All right, next up, city commission and committee reports, or board and commission reports.
Delta County Landfill Authority's meeting is canceled this month. Just to let anyone know if they were planning on attending on the last Tuesday of the month. We got notification that not enough stuff for the agenda. That's a good thing sometimes.
Yeah. All right, public comment?
I've got handouts.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Could you fill these out? Michael O'Connor, 526 Minnesota Avenue. Original way. Okay. Wanted to start by talking about the DDA. So basically, I wanted to just put this all in print. It's easier to put it in the minutes. As you're aware, Phil Strom did not bring charges against the City of Gladstone and the DDA. This had to do with the use of money. The reason is not the city and the DDA are all lily white, but as Phil explained it to me, he's not allowed to do so. The way the law is set up, it's up to the State Tax Commission to bring action. The State Tax Commission looks at the Department of Treasury to actually do investigations. When I talked with the Department of Treasury, they indicated it's really up to the City Commission to decide what's right and what's wrong. So you're supposed to know what the statute means in the application of the statute. So basically, the only check and balance is by bringing litigation to court. And that's, of course, is what I've done. Basically, I filed with the court last week to bring this issue. The first issue we're looking at is in 2009, the DDA amendment for the tax capture was reset to 0, which is the first year. And basically, it indicated that the amount of money that they should receive would be $4,582. That's 2% of the property in the district. The city collected nearly $250,000. So that wasn't reset, and that's been going on year after year. So since 2009, the DDA's received $2 million in tax funds. The appropriate amount of funding at 2% would be about $200,000. So we've got about $1.8 million due back. The next thing we're looking at is the transfer of funds from the utility. And I think everyone pretty much knows that the electric fund's been the cash cow for years. And actually going back in the records, it's more than 6-7 years. I mean, we're talking 12-15 years. And that's a violation of the Michigan State Constitution. This is the Headley Act. So basically, that's the next issue we're going to be submitting to the court. And we're hoping to do that this week. So we're trying to get things every 2 weeks, get something into the court. And those are two big items as far as money. The last action, of course, is the class action suit for the pension stabilization. So basically, we're going to be working on that. As most of you are aware, we have a full-time attorney now working on these. And I'm thinking this is probably going to be August time frame for the class action lawsuit. So we're also circulating a petition to end the DDA. That would be on the November election. So that would give time for the DDA to come up and say why the DDA is a good thing, should it be saved, should it go away, should part of that tax capture come back to the city. So I'm looking for a good conversation on the DDA. What it needs to be, does it need to be? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tim Levine, 2722 South Hill Road, Gladstone. I thought I overheard a conversation about the charter, that we're charging them or they're charging us. Escanaba doesn't charge anything for their lines. We're being charged here for the use of our lines. About, what is it, $4 a month or something like that? I don't know the exact amount because I don't have a bill with me. I talked to my brother because he lives in Escanaba, and he says they don't get any charge for, they're using their lines. So why are we being charged? That's one question. Number two, 6 people are working trying to help keep the compost pile the way they're going. Volunteers, people that come to me and ask me if they could help in there. Well, we got 21 people now that come in there illegally, and 5 contractors. Sunday we caught 1 or 2, I'm not sure. I got to ask Art what he got. Anyway, the camera still ain't working. It was supposed to have been fixed on June 10th. It was not fixed. That camera's too high, they can't read the plates. Now, this is over 4 years this is going on, and nothing's been done. It don't sound logical to me. We probably lost $80,000 or more to people that come in there illegally. You got the same contractor sneaking in there. I think one of the commissioners chased one out of there too, just recently. I think it was Sunday. I'm not sure. I think it was Sunday. So this stuff is still going on, and nothing's being done by nobody here. But guess what? People in Gladstone are really upset. I talked to 53 people today, and 48 of them were voters. 5 of them have not registered. And they're talking about even the farmers market. Said, why did they move the farmers market down where it's at now when it was down there by the lake for years and plenty of parking and nobody had any problems? Ended up here, you couldn't even find a place to park. Spent all that money on that place. So I don't know. Something's got to change pretty soon. I know November's going to make a change if something ain't done. I know that because they're telling me. They're upset. You get out and talk to some of these people, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's all the commissioners, you can do like I do, walk around and talk to people, see what they've got to say. You'll find out what they've got to say and might help you in making some decisions that will work for the city. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got.
Thank you.
I'm Richard Juneau. I live on 29th Street. I have been complaining about the speed on that street for years. I've been here since 1993. I have called the police. I must have 500 reports in the police station. Dirt bikes, freewheelers. And I pulled up the ordinance, and I see they changed the ordinance. Now some people can run on 29th Street, but only if they're going to the trail. And that's very few people. That's probably 5 people. Another thing is dust control. And that goes right back to the 3-wheelers, the 4-wheelers, the schoolyard, Highway 35, 29th Street, the compost pile road, the playground is built over there, by the ballpark, whatever's not blacktop. All that dust, if the road's blowing right, or the wind, it comes right through our house or somebody else's house. These are issues you're going to have to start looking at. If you build something, blacktop the damn parking lot. You got a trail goes right through town. Just dust roars up out of there, north of where I live. You got the compost pile road. How many cars go in there daily? $50. That's a lot of dust. Once you open that road, we should have had that road targeted by the police, because now it's a speedway. People go through there 60 miles an hour. That's residential. 25. And if that was a trail for ATVs, their speed limit would be 15. I think we need to do something about this, or I will. And I will use dust control to be the weapon.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, moving on to city commissioner comments. Commissioner View?
First off, I just want to thank the whole community for pulling together on the 4th of July parade. It was a fun event. A lot of people seemed happy, a lot of kids smiling. I did have some comments from citizens later on that they would like to be part of that committee. So I told them I'd bring it up here, and somehow.
We've been reaching out for 4 or 5 years on Facebook and begging people to come on to that.
Okay,
committee.
so I can direct them
Yep.
to City
Yep,
Hall.
We would love new faces on that committee.
Then the only other comment I had was with Eric's first comment about the Gladstone Little League. I don't agree with that whole comment as far as what the board has told Eric. I am on the board, and we did have somebody contact me that was willing to staff that concession stand for this huge event that the Gladstone Little League has been working on for 2 years, so they can recoup some of the thousands of dollars that they put out bringing these 16 teams into the community. That's it.
All right, Commissioner Thompson?
No comments.
Commissioner Randall?
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Phelan?
No, nothing tonight.
Okay. The only thing I have is I talked to Darcy and I talked to Ron Robinson, our police director, and we all decided that we're going to have a meet and greet with them August 7th at 6 o'clock, so an hour before the city commission meeting. So everyone will get a chance to talk to them, and Ron is also talking about possibly bringing a couple of his new officers in too. So
That'd be great.
Maybe we
and
can get the mechanic in here too.
yeah, we can talk about getting some of the city,
The new
maybe,
ones.
maybe even the department heads, even maybe. Okay, and city clerk comments.
I do have something. There is a groundbreaking scheduled for Wednesday, July 12th at 2 p.m. for the new Upper Peninsula State Bank, their new Gladstone branch.
We told you they were coming.
Their address is 1 Lowry Avenue, and everybody is invited to join them. And that's Wednesday, July 12th at 2 p.m.
Okay, thank you. All right, then the meeting is adjourned.